and welcome to another hard-hitting expose episode of We Only
Another one.
Thin. I am Katherine Weigel. I am one of your hosts. I have lost over 100 pounds and kept it off for over 7 years.
Yeah.
I'm a Tiny Habit certified coach, a Thrive Global certified coach, another kind of secret extra certified coach that I'll tell you about in a minute or two. And with me today is
Donald Weigel, and I have no secrets. I have been doing this for almost 8 years now. What did we decide?
I think it's almost 8 years. It's fine.
I have lost about 100 pounds. I've kept it off for a while, and we're here to talk about it.
We are here to talk about it. You know how on news shows they're like, is your granola killing your dog? Like,
I
find
know.
out about it
And
at
then
the end of the
they don't
episode.
tell you at the end,
And then at the end they're like, no, it's fine.
Yeah. No, your granola's great.
Oh my gosh.
Your dog loves it.
Way back in the day, do you remember when MTV showed music videos?
Yes.
Okay, way back in the day, there was, I want to say it was a New Year's Eve episode. I think the year was 1993 or so, maybe 1994. And they were like, and at the end of this, we're going to show you this. We're going to get you Smashing Pumpkins. And I was like, oh, the Smashing Pumpkins are going to be all like in, like, despite all my rage, all my rats are in a cage or whatever, however the lyrics go. Anyway, it used to be good. So I was like, oh, like, okay, they're going to have Smashing Pumpkins on at the end. And literally at the end of whatever it was, they took baseball bats to some pumpkins.
Oh.
And it was like, come on now. But this was way back in the day. Maybe it was more like what was UHF? Like it was like the AM radio station version of rock. It was just like,
right.
Yeah, see, haha, Smashing Pumpkins. So this is pretty hard hitting for us, though. I mean, if we're gonna go to the dark underbelly of 27 years of love and support, then I guess this is
the dark underbelly of it.
Yeah, there's what we don't want you to know.
Yeah, there's a term in journalism, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's not a bait and switch, but it's like that it really makes people angry, and it's the idea of like you're supposed to write a super catchy headline to get people
like
to
clickbait.
read something, kind of. And then when they do, they get upset about it. But it's like the classic example of it, which I learned in a journalism class, was is like, you know, the headline is free beer, and then you get to and it's like, okay, not really, but there's going to be a meeting of the, you know,
that's not good.
Town council. Yeah. Like people get really upset about that, so you have to be like careful about. Fun fact. Not advertising the Smashing Pumpkins.
For anyone who is coming to Los Angeles who has never been here, do not go to Hollywood Boulevard and the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It is not worth it. It is not our like shining star of Los Angeles. But if you do, we've warned you. But there used to be a trinket shop right across the street from Grauman's Chinese Theater that in big letters said, going out of business. And when things are going out of business, like you gotta go and get all the things that are on sale. But what it said in very small letters between going and out was for.
Yeah, it was
going out for
business. Yeah, not of business.
But if you got really close, you realize they weren't going out of business. They were going out for business.
Also, counterpoint.
Okay.
I think that you have to see it for yourself one time. I think you have to go to the Chinese theater.
Yeah.
And you got to look at the handprints, and you got to like, I'm not saying that it's going to change.
The handprints are pretty cool.
I'm not saying it's going to change your life or anything, but I think you got to see it once for yourself. If you're here anyway, yeah, you should go.
But go other places also. But the handprints I think are pretty great.
I think a little of your opinion comes from the fact that we live here and we can see it whenever we want.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, look, I went recently with my brother and his wife. They sailed from Tahiti to Hawaii, and then
they walked.
They walked
here to Los Angeles.
to Los Angeles. They swam the rest of the way.
Yeah.
But seeing like Shirley Temple's little tiny hands and little tiny feet.
Yeah.
And like they used to have R2-D2 and I was like, oh, it's R2-D2.
She makes a mean drink too.
She does.
A mean non-alcoholic drink.
So yeah, I guess go there, but don't go out for business. We're going out for business on this episode
exactly.
of We Only Look Thin. As promised, we are is it scraping, or like where are we going to get? It's not a bottom of the barrel. What is it? We're going at.
We, for our 400th episode, asked people to if they had any questions for us. I don't know about scraping or barrel bottoms.
What? Okay, but, I will say.
But we had so many questions. We answered some of them on the last episode. We're going to answer some of them on this episode. I don't know how many we're going to get through. We're going to see how it goes for time. Maybe we'll do another episode with more questions at some point soon.
Okay. Our daughter at one point, because I do Wolt Place, We Only Look Thin Place, was like, hey, do you need anyone as like a bouncer for your group? Like, do you need like an admin to kick people out and like whatever? And I'm like, no, everyone's super nice and friendly. And on these questions,
boring.
No one was like, Phoebe Buffet wants to know, like, who do you think you are? Like,
exactly.
There were no, like, mean questions. They were all very nice. So we're going to do, this time, last episode we did mostly questions from Wolt Place members. And on this episode, we're going to the internet, everybody.
Yeah, we asked for questions. And by we, I mean Catherine asked for questions on Instagram. And so we're going to stick to, I believe, questions from Instagram on this episode. We'll see how many we get through.
Yeah, so I am going to start us off with a question from Kristen.
Hello, Kristen.
With a K and no E. Just letting you know, because I know letters are very important.
Very important on a podcast.
Okay, first question. I love your podcast.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yes, that is correct.
It's true. Okay, I've gone on so many walks listening to you. And here, first is a question for Donald. It says Q for Donald, but I'm assuming Donald. Okay, so
Q for you.
Okay, so question for Donald. What made you and pause? And there's two parts to this question, so hold on, don't answer yet. What made you decide to be vegetarian, and do you think it has made your journey venture easier or harder?
Wow, that is a question. So I'm almost a little hesitant to answer this question, honestly, because people get very angry at vegetarians. I think that some people feel like I'm somehow attacking them by choosing to be vegetarian. But I worked at a health food store in Princeton, New Jersey, where Catherine and I met.
Yep. I was a cocktail waitress.
Early 90s. And I got into a lot of arguments at the time, which seems silly now, with vegetarians and vegans who worked at the store. And something about their arguments must have sunk in with me, because I had a dream where I suddenly could become any animal that I wanted to become.
I'm not sure if I remember that.
And when I woke up from that dream, my very first thought was, now that I know what it's like to be these animals, how could I possibly eat them?
Okay.
And this is the very short version of that. So essentially, I don't want to hurt anything. Look, I pick up spiders and carry them outside when they're in the place. I don't want to hurt anything. I don't want to kill anything. I don't want to be part of killing anything. That's really the short answer to that. I'm not trying to attack anybody who does. That's my reasoning. So the answer to the second part of that is, I don't know if it's made it easier or not. I became a vegetarian when I was 20 years old. So I have been a vegetarian. I am 55 now. I have been a vegetarian for most of my life, the majority of my adult life. I suspect it has made it easier for me. I think there are quite a few low-calorie foods. However, the flip side of that is I managed to gain all that weight while being a vegetarian, and I was vegan for some chunks of years in there too. And it's still really easy to eat a lot of bread and drink alcohol and have a lot of vegan, high-calorie things that will allow you to gain weight. So I genuinely don't know for sure. I do think there are a lot of, like, I think an Impossible Burger is lower calorie per ounce than a hamburger, but I'm not even actually 100% sure if that's true. So in some ways, I think it's made it easier, but in other ways, I don't know that it has.
Yeah, and I know this isn't what Kristen with a K and no E had asked, but
yeah, she didn't want to know anything about you. She asked me.
I was sort of
my time
off and on vegetarian for a really long time, but I was always a big junk food vegetarian of like Coca-Cola and Pop-Tarts are vegan. Yeah, like I'm saving the world, but I was eating so poorly. Like Donald was very good at, making tofu, steamed tofu and vegetables and, making soup and doing all these things. And I was just very like spaghetti vegetarian, and I was anemic. And look, this was when I was a lot younger.
I was a junk food vegetarian for a long time. I also went through phases where I did eat a ton of steamed vegetables and stuff. But I think in fairness, I mean, I really I didn't get up to the weight I was, without eating a whole lot of junk food before.
Yeah. So Donald answered the question. I think for me, I was not, as someone who doesn't cook very much, I think it was a detriment to me to be vegetarian. So we have different lifestyles. Our daughter, who we adopted, was not vegetarian. And so I started cooking meat for her and decided for myself that I was going to go back to eating meat. So, but good question for Donald.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. We've made it work. We love each other. Okay. So the next question for both of us is, and this is a hard-hitting one.
Yeah.
Kristen with a K and no E asks, what is your favorite meal at Disneyland? Yay. Thanks for the softball question.
Yeah.
Do you actually have a favorite meal? We go to Disneyland a lot. A lot. So
I'm actually struggling to come up with a great answer for this. Okay, I'll give two answers. One is the simpler one is there is a Mexican themed restaurant there called Rancho del Zocalo, and they have a cheese enchiladas, which I really enjoy. The longer answer is we have eaten a few times at the Blue Bayou. I think I've eaten there maybe 4 times over the course of the last 25 years. And 3 of the times it was fantastic. And I believe they had, what I remember is a sort of a portobello mushroom mashed potato, like fancy sit down meal kind of a thing. The other time it was very disappointing.
Yeah.
But the most recent time it was great, which was just a couple of years ago. So, those are my 2 answers to that.
Yeah. I feel like generally Donald has to wrangle me in most of life. So I won't, I think we could probably do
we could do a whole like eating at Disneyland podcast probably.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Disneyland has very delicious food. If I'm going to say the favorite thing I've ever had or dining experience I've ever had at Disneyland was about maybe 18 years ago. We had the opportunity to go to Club 33.
Oh, yeah. I don't count that. I mean, Club 33 was like its own thing.
So Club 33 is a private members only, like tens of thousands of dollars membership restaurant.
I mean, like literally tens of thousands of dollars like annually to be a member.
Yeah. And it doesn't include tickets to the park. It's just for the restaurant. We had the opportunity to go there and it was absolutely magical. And I don't know that I appreciated it as much. I did appreciate it, but now that I'm older, I wish I could do it again. It was amazing. I think in the general Disney things that I enjoy eating. They have, and again, sorry for sexy food talk. They have a Monte Cristo sandwich at Cafe Orleans, I think it's called. Again, it is a like only get it once a year. Like,
yeah.
I do not / cannot go there and have it frequently.
I mean, it's got to be 1,000 calories.
Yeah, but it is a delicious sort of battered sandwich with ham and cheese and jam, and I think it's deep fried. Again, it is a very occasional indulgence that I think is my favorite thing there. So,
all right.
So Disney has a whole food culture, which is its own thing. So,
okay. So next question.
So this is actually quite timely. And remember the secret thing I said I was going to say about things?
Yeah.
So here is Kristen. You know how to spell her name, everybody. I'm not going to say it again. Her last question is, have you considered doing a podcast about the rise in GLP-1 usage? Which, funny, you should ask. Ha 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 ha. So that's so how funny. I naturally laugh.
That was so
I had
funny.
Natural laugh break in there.
So it was in the script.
So as I haven't really talked about it all that much, other than just announcing that I'm a Thrive Global certified coach. Thrive Global is an organization that was started by Ariana Huffington, and so I do some corporate coaching for Thrive. And just this very July, I don't know why I said it like that. In July, I actually, through Thrive, became a certified GLP-1 coach, which it hadn't really been on my radar. I think, and maybe this is a bigger question for another time, sort of the impression that I had about GLP-1s when they first came out. I think my opinion has changed in a more accepting way, I think, in the last year or so, and recognizing that it is a part of the weight loss diaspora. There, I said it. That there's no, though Donald and I have gone the calories in, calories out way, we know that isn't for everyone. And so I became a GLP-1 coach, and I feel like I have a much better understanding of how GLP-1s work, how they affect your hunger cues, how they physically affect, your body, and how eating is actually different on a GLP-1 versus eating in just a calorie deficit mode. And I think that there are nuances that I wasn't aware of that are actually really important. It is not, I think maybe in the past I had it must be nice to just take a magic pill that makes you not hungry. And it's a lot more complicated than that. I think it is a lot of work to be successful on GLP-1s. So the short answer is yes, I have considered it.
Well, and I think more to the point, I think we are going to do a whole episode about this coming up. Now, I have never so far tried any GLP-1s. I am not certified. I don't know much about it. So we're going to see how this episode goes.
Yeah.
I can talk about it from the I've never tried it standpoint, and Catherine will fill us in on a future episode.
Well, we received a question from someone who is on a GLP-1 with some specific questions to help them manage it. And so it's kind of perfect timing that I am a coach, because I feel like I would not have been able to answer any GLP-1 questions. And now I feel better informed. So we are going to talk about it in the future. Okay,
so next question comes from the Avenue Light on Instagram. And the question is, love the pod!
Yes.
With 5 exclamation points. Yes is the correct answer to that. Can you cover how to improve your self-esteem and how that affects weight gain, weight loss, etc.? I think so much of weight issues can have a correlation with confidence, inclusion, being seen, etc.
Oof.
Yeah.
This could be a whole episode.
Yeah, this could definitely be a whole episode of itself. Did you want to answer first?
Sure. I will answer first. So this, I think in hindsight, if I can take one thing away from the last 9 years of my journey venture, and again, sort of as I've gotten older, setting boundaries with other people and really getting connected to my own emotions, my own needs, how I feel valued, sort of putting safeguards in place for myself on my own energy has maybe been the biggest part of building my self-confidence, regardless of my weight. Another factor in that has been going into perimenopause and having hot flashes. I think they started in maybe 2019. And it was sort of like, if I don't start standing up for myself now, when am I going to do it? When am I going to be the star of my own spin-off series rather than, a background actor in someone else's life? And for me, building that muscle of telling people what I need, telling people how they make me feel, being responsible for my own actions and not being a victim. I think for me, those have been really key in one, not looking for other people's approval or like hiding from what I needed. So regardless of my weight, during this process, I think the most empowering part has really been focusing on boundaries, self-advocacy, and really recognizing that like my life is in my hands and it's not going to magically come with a certain number on the scale or a certain age. That it's an evolving process. But I think, and again, maybe we'll do a whole episode on this, but I think that confidence and inclusion and being seen is like, confidence is how I treat myself. Inclusion is who am I deciding to spend my energy on and who do I get energy from in a positive way. And then being seen is being comfortable in my own skin, whether that's recognizing that at age 51, like I like what I like, I stand for what I stand for, and I'm going to measure out my energy in ways that matter. And I think I've entered, someone else mentioned in another question, the I do not care club. Like I am too flippadoodling old to worry about what other people think. Not that I don't, take other people's feelings into consideration.
Yeah.
But I think I'm much more assertive in taking care of myself. And that no matter the number on the scale, because I've been thin before, I'm letting you know that confidence did not come with being a certain number on the scale. It came from standing up for myself.
Yeah. And I think that's an amazing answer. And I'm not sure I can add anything to it. But I'll try quickly. And I would look, you really just said what I'm about to say. I'm saying it in kind of a different way. Say it in the guy
voice.
I'm saying it in kind of a different way. But I think that not trying very hard, and it's easier to say than it is to do, trying very hard to not tie my weight to my self-esteem and self-confidence. And one way in which I was able to do that, and look, it's still a work in progress. I can't say that I always if I put on some weight, I can't say that I always am okay about it from a self-esteem point of view. But one way in which I have done it is to everybody's going through their own stuff. And I used to think that the first thing anybody would think about me was about my weight and my appearance. And I really don't think that that's true. And I think that everybody's just thinking about their own stuff. And so if I think about my own stuff and I all of the things Catherine just said, tying my self-confidence to other things and my self-esteem to other things, and realizing that everybody's got their own stuff going on and that there really isn't anything to beat myself up over when it comes to weight has really helped me with my mindset on that.
Yeah, I think very recently Taylor Swift, who's just an average gal in an average world.
That's right.
Just one of the common folk like us. She, I'm super paraphrasing, but she sort of talked about deciding who gets your energy, because everyone has opinions and you get to decide whose opinions matter to you, who lifts you up, who is a cheerleader, who is, a partner, who is, someone that you aspire to be or more like, and you can reject the others. I think I like the analogy, if I'm a base of bold, is thinking about it as junk mail. Right? You get all this mail in the mail. The mail comes from the mail and is mail.
You get mail in the mail.
Right. So you get things that are important, you get things that are educational, and then you get solicitations from any company that has your mailing address, and they want your attention. And you do not have to respond to people, organizations, ideals that do not resonate with you. That can be a podcast, that can be a book, that can be people in your environment. You don't have to engage with every argument or every, ideology that doesn't build you up. And I think that is just such a huge thing of just deciding, is this a fight I'm going to jump myself into? Or is this like something that I'm going to step away from preserving your energy in global news, social media, your family, your friends. We're evolving. And like Donald said, I think it is very challenging still as weights go up or, disappointment comes our way. But recognizing that it's within our control to sort of decide where we're going to put our energy. It feels so much better to be around people who make you feel like energized, and whether that's online or in person, being surrounded by clothing that makes you feel good, music that makes you feel good, podcasts that make you feel good. So that's what I have to say.
I don't. This is maybe a slight tangent, but like Catherine just said, you don't have to engage in every fight either, and I think that really helps. And I think that, just to use a really banal example, it's like if people misuse the word literally, you don't have to tell them that they're misusing it. Or if somebody says less when they mean fewer, you don't have to engage in that every time. You can let it go. It's okay.
Well, and other people's opinions don't matter more than yours.
Yeah.
Are you gonna eat that whole salad? Nobody could eat that whole salad. Yes, Janice, I am. And thank you, Goldilocks, for being the arbiter of the exact right salad in the universe for every single person. Yeah, that's really a thing. I think for me, that just not feeling like my needs matter less, or that other people's opinions invalidate my needs, has just been, now I'm getting all fired up, has been huge to just own what is true for me and not feel like I have to stop doing something because someone else is judging it. I wish I had learned that earlier, I think. So,
yeah.
So good job, everybody.
Okay, so next question, and I think maybe we will make this the last question of the episode.
Sounds good. Okay, so Mary, who she's a double dipper. She is both.
Oh yeah, we asked one of her questions from Woolplay. She asked again on Instagram.
She is in our Facebook-based accountability group, and she is following us on Instagram. Mary, and I've been to Disneyland with her. Jay, letting you know. She was an internet stranger, and we are friends now.
You saved so much time just then by saying Jay instead of just.
Okay.
Jay letting you know.
Jay letting you know. Okay, so Delightful Mary asks, what's your favorite piece of advice each of you have given on the podcast?
All right, I'm going to cheat.
Okay.
And I'm going to give two.
Ooh, okay.
One that no one likes, but still I think is... I can't say it enough. Get to sleep.
Oh, okay.
Go to bed. If you're not rested, it is so much harder to make good decisions throughout the day. put your phone down, turn the TV off, and go to bed. Okay, that sounds really like I'm scolding people.
But we definitely were like revenge staying up really, really late because we worked so hard, and then it would just ruin the next day, rinse and repeat.
If you're consistently only getting 5, 6, even 7 hours of sleep a night, like you need to make that more of a priority. Okay, I'll get down off my soapbox. The other piece, the what would be my real answer if I could only pick one, would be it is better to do something, even if it's not perfect, than to do nothing. Do what you can do. I think that I spent so much time, and I think that we spend so much time trying to wait for the perfect time or come up with the perfect plan or decide on the perfect action. And we say to ourselves, well, if I can't do the perfect thing, then I'm going to do nothing. And that leads to doing nothing because the perfect thing almost never comes along. And there's almost never an opportunity to do the perfect thing with anything in life, let alone with weight loss. Or I shouldn't say let alone, but, when it comes to weight loss and fitness, we might say, well, I should go running for 2 miles, but the weather's not great outside. So instead I will do nothing. Well, there are alternatives. You can do things inside. You can do things in your own living room if you have a TV that streams things, which most of us do at this point. There are exercises that you can do. There are videos that you can follow. We just watch TV. I have a little treadmill I get on, or we get on our rebounders and we burn calories that way. It's do what you can do right now. If you can't take a half-hour walk, take a 2-minute walk. Take a 1-minute walk. Take a 5-minute walk. Take one flight of stairs if you're not up for doing multiple flights of stairs. There's something that you can do right now that you can get yourself to do right now that is better than doing nothing.
I think that's so true. I literally was I used to say well, if I'm tracking calories, I don't have the bandwidth to go for a walk.
Right.
Oh, okay. Because that makes a lot of sense. You watch television for 6 hours a day and don't do anything else.
Yeah. That false choice loophole that we've talked about with Gretchen Rubin.
Yeah. So that and I think that's sort of the ethos of the Tiny Habits.
Whoa,
look at me.
Ethos
of that.
Wasn't that one of the Greek gods?
It was. So just promiscuous was. No, I don't know.
Don't think that's true.
Caloric promiscuity. Okay, so one of the things that I love about Tiny Habits is that small is always available to you. I think people think that it's this, I won't go into a battle royale between Tiny Habits and Atomic Habits, but Atomic Habits is sort of 1% improvement all the time leads to nirvana, and Tiny Habits is you can always return to the smallest unit, and it's always a success. So having that base of, maybe sometimes things are going really great and maybe you do, a ton, of positive things, and other times things are challenging and maybe you can just go back to the basics, and it doesn't mean that you failed. It's just a return to that simplicity when you need it. So I think that how can I make this smaller? What can I do right now and not worry about the future? I think that was a great one, Donald.
Well, thank you.
Wait, so was that your two-part?
Did you have a? Yeah, that
okay,
was that
sleep
was it.
And
the sleep was just sort of like a bonus.
Yeah, the bonus.
The bonus one.
Okay,
yeah.
And you gave the bonus first. That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, what is your favorite piece of advice? So, golly, I talk a lot and I work around a lot of things. I think my favorite piece of advice, and it was actually maybe a podcast episode in our first year, was Better Off Fed. And the sort of tagline for that was, go that way really fast. If something gets in your way, turn. And that was from the movie Better Off Dead. And the example sort of exemplifies like, go in a direction. When something gets in your way, pivot, do something else. And I think in the past, before the podcast, before the joint venture, it was, if anything got in my way, it was proof that I just wasn't made to lose weight. Like, I had a work meeting and I couldn't exercise. That means I can't work out. I gained weight at Weight Watchers. So now I'm just going to quit, because why bother if I'm going to gain weight after doing all of this work? When any obstacle got in the way, Christmas, a birthday,
oh my goodness,
my
yes.
lettuce going bad, like, I forgot my lunch at home. Whatever it was, I saw it as proof that I was just not made for weight loss.
Yeah.
And now my mindset is, of course things are going to get in the way. Like, no, it happens. Life happens. Unexpected things happen. Holidays happen. Taco Tuesday happens. And if we are able to pivot and adapt and maybe lower our expectations in challenge of, or lower our high, expectations in challenging times, the more we can adapt, it's better for our overall weight loss game, man. Like, we talked about, like, buildings in Los Angeles are made earthquake proof. And that doesn't mean they are rigid. It means that they actually are able to, like, be flexible and move when the earth shakes.
Yeah, they sway. I work on the 16th floor of a building, which isn't that high, but the minor earthquakes I've been through while they've been up there, the building really sways back and forth.
Right. And even in Tiny Habits, they talk about how, like, rigidity snaps. Right? If you have something that is rigid and it comes against, an earthquake or a hurricane, it snaps in half. But something that is limber, something that is malleable and soft, it bends in the wind, but it doesn't break. And so that idea of course, challenges are going to come our way. And, perimenopause was like, I knew it was going to happen, but I didn't expect it to be as challenging as it is.
Yeah.
And knowing that is like, okay, there are going to be other things that happen that are going to be challenging, and it might disrupt our flow. It might slow our progress. It might shift our focus, but there is always something we can do to take care of ourselves. That idea that, when things are great, we can do so much. And when things are challenging, we can do something small. It doesn't cost any extra money to pump up the volume. It doesn't cost any money to close the kitchen at 8:00 at night and just, put a cap on how much food we're eating in a day.
Yeah, no cap.
No cap. It doesn't, cost anything to do a single, counter height push-up in your kitchen or a single crunch. And recognizing again that like things are going to get in the way and we can still do something, I think is maybe if you took one thing from We Only Look Thin, is that you always have the invitation to adapt to your surroundings and not see it as a pass or fail, but just as part of life. And the more we're able to adapt, adjust, and live in our current season, I think the happier we will be and the more content we are with our progress on our journey ventures.
Yes, indeed. And I think that is a great place to stop. Wow, we have quite a few more questions. Maybe we will do another episode at some point on that. We'll have to talk about that.
We'll switch it up. Maybe do some planned episodes. But I think this has been very valuable for us too. As an opportunity, like, no joking, I know I sound like I'm snarky all the time, but I think reflecting for ourselves on all of this, I think, has been really helpful too. So we really appreciate all of the questions.
Agreed. And thank you so much for listening. This was episode 401. Maybe at some point we will get to 801.
Holy smoke-a-doodles. Welcome
like...
to We Only Look Thin.
Yeah.
What'd
exactly.
you say?
Yeah. No,
what?
we'll forget everything. Anyway, I shouldn't joke about that. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. We are grateful that you spent time with us, and we have 400 other episodes you can listen to. The most recent 300 are all available on all of the major podcast platforms, or you can go all the way back to episode number 1 on YouTube, or at any time on our website at weonlylookthin.com. Oh, and I should say, remind everyone, we are on an every other week schedule now.
Yeah.
We're releasing every other week instead of every week. Anyway, anytime on our website, weonlylookthin.com.
Yep. And if you are at our website, click on that link for Join Our Support Group. Join Wolt Place. We Only Look Thin Place is our Facebook-based accountability group for women. We are a place for accountability, fellowship, and just connection. I know the internet can be kind of a wackadoodle place there, I'll say it. But it is just such an amazing group of supportive women, all on different stages of their joint venture. Some are just starting out. Some have been maintaining for 10 years. It's just such a spectrum of women just supporting one another. I'm super proud of Wolt Place. I also do, even if social media isn't your jam-a-doodle-doo, we also do Zoom-a-doodle-doos.
Whoa.
I do weekly
There's
Zoom.
a lot of doodles.
Weekly Zoom meetings. And I don't know where you can get advice and support and coaching at such a value. So we do habit challenges. Like I said, we do Zoom meetings. We also do unrecorded, off-the-record Zoom meetings for more just chit-chat and hang out and cool stuff.
Yeah.
It's secret. So check us out. We have 2 subscription options, a monthly subscription with a 3-day complimentary trial and a 3-month subscription with a 7-day complimentary trial to see if Wolt Place is right for you. So if you have been thinking about joining, now is the time to do it.
Yes, indeed. Please check it out, and it would be cool if you joined. You can also check us out on social media. We are at We Only Look Thin on Instagram and Facebook. Or if you'd like to send us an email, you can do so to weonlylookthin@gmail.com. If you have an episode suggestion, if you have more questions to ask us, or if you would just like to say hello, give us a shout out, give us some compliments, we would like to hear from you. Once again, that is weonlylookthin@gmail.com.
Yep, and if you have a couple of extra minutes, please head over to Apple Podcast and leave us a 5-star review and a rating. That would be great. Not only does it let us know that what we are doing year after year, almost 8 years now, over 400 episodes, that it is making a difference in your joint venture, but it also helps other people find our podcast. So please take an extra minute and do that. We would really appreciate it.
Yes, we would. And nothing we would appreciate is if you would tell somebody about the show. If you know someone who might get something out of our show, or if, comes up in a conversation, or if you are on the interweb and you're in something like a Facebook group or a subreddit or a Discord server, and it makes sense to give us a shout out, we would really appreciate it. It really helps the show grow.
It sure does. So if you're afraid that we are going to give you a pop quiz on how we are spelling the name Kristen in this episode, I gave you many chances. Now's the time. How do you spell it? Just remember that, Mary and the Avenue of Light and Kristen and Donald and I are an inspiration.
The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.